Hello everyone. So today we'll be seeing some problems related to inheritance. These problems are given in the lab sheet 8, and I think I have already posted this in your Google Classroom. So I'll be showing you the solutions to task 7, 8 and 9, but in this specific video I'll be talking about task 7, and later on I'll be posting two more videos related to task 8 and 9. Okay, now let's jump straight to the problem. So I've copied this code in NetBeans, and over here as you can see we have got two classes, a test class and we have got a fruit class. So in the fruit class we have got some global variables and a couple of methods, but in the test class we have got two methods, a test fruit method and a main method. Now we are already familiar to what a main method is, so I'll not be talking about that. I'll be jumping straight to the test fruit method. But one thing I think, if you have seen the class test, is when you see the test fruit method, this is not a normal method because of the static keyword that is right in front of it. That makes it a static method. Now we know what a static variable is, but I don't know whether you guys don't know what a static method is. So I'll be showing you guys a quick example of what a static method is, and then I'll be continuing with this problem. So let's see. Okay, for example, let me talk about static variables at first. So for example, if x equals to 7, this is a non-static variable. Now if you need to make it static, what you need to do is we need to write a static keyword at first, and as usual we have seen in previous labs, if we need to access this, we need to write the class name. So in the class, this x is in dot to access x dot x, something like this, right? So now, okay, I don't know why I can cancel this. So now let's talk about static methods. So we have got a class car, and I've named an object Toyota, the reference, which is referencing a car. So we have got a car type Toyota. So in the car class we have a lot of methods: start engine method, play music, and lots of other methods. But I'm talking about the specific car Toyota, and I want this to start its engine. So we created this an object, and then using the reference we have called on this method. So Toyota calls on this method starts engine, and then also another method, play music, and so on. But what if I say that the play music method, this is a static method, just like the static variables we have talked before. This is a static method. Now what difference would it make? I'm using the same example over here. So just like this, what we need to do is, if you want to access this very block of code, this very block of method which is inside this car class, you cannot access this by using this reference variable Toyota. You cannot create an object of car and then use this reference Toyota to call on this method. Why? Because this method is now a static method. This is not a non-static method. Now the first thing that you need to know is, if this is a non-static method, you cannot use instances of objects to call a method. That means you cannot create an object and then use this instance Toyota and then call this method. This will give you error. This won't work. So the only way this will work is, what is the name of the class? Car, right? This is the name of the class car. Okay, I don't know what happened, but we'll go on. Okay, so what you need to do is, just like the way we access the static variables, we have to access in the same manner. We have to access the static methods. So by using the car class name, then you can access the static methods. So I think you guys have understood this. However, if you haven't, I'll be solving the problem of task 7, and we'll be doing something similar to that. Then it will be much clearer to you guys. Okay, let's start. We have got a class, we have got another class fruit over here, and we have got some methods. Okay, so now how do you need to solve it? First of all, how did we understand that this very problem is related to inheritance? First, so let's see. In the main method, we have created an object of class of mango, of type mango, and then we have passed this object instance of this object to test fruit. This is a method, and the same thing happened over here. We have created a jackfruit object, and we have passed the instance in this method. So let's jump onto the method. Okay, the test fruit method, what we can see over here, it can only accept things which are fruit. So what do we mean by that? That means only objects which are fruit type, only those can be readable over in this parameter of this method. So that means if we are talking about mango, the mango class, this is not a fruit class, right? This is a different class, and mango is a different class, but still this code will work. Why? Because mango is a type of fruit, the same way we have shown you in the lab class. For example, if this is your parent and this is the child, so if you send the parent the child instance in this parameter, it will work. Why? Because let me show you a diagram. So for example, this is a fruit class. Now, is mango a type of fruit? Yes, it's a type of fruit. So I'm using M to denote mango and J to denote jackfruit. So these are types of fruit. So the mango and the jackfruit, these are inheriting all the global variables and all the methods which are public of fruit. So in that way we can know that, okay, mango is a type of fruit. So yeah, this can be passed in this parameter because it can only accept fruit types. So we do not have neither mango or jackfruit classes, so we need to create them. And as mango is a type of fruit, so we need to extend all the fruit. We need to extend the fruit class when we will create mango. So what I'm talking about is, let's create a class. It's a mango class. So mango will extends fruit. Let's see the constructor. Okay, we'll solve the problem later on, but this is the what we need to create at first. And then there is this another class, jackfruit. So let's see, wait a minute, let me check the name over here. Jackfruit. Okay, the F is small, no problem. Let's go back and try to run it. Jackfruit. Okay, so we have created a mango class and a jackfruit class, and also jackfruit needs to extend from fruit, because jackfruit is a type of fruit, and it's given us some sort of error because we haven't added any constructor and whatever. We'll see that later on, but this is the skeleton, what we need to do. Now let's go back. The first thing that we need to do is we need to create a mango class and a jackfruit class. Okay, we have done that. Now the second line is it passes the instance to this test fruit class. Okay, so we have passed am over here. Now a mango has been passed in this parameter, and the next line is printing detail, and then it is checking that whether f means m dot has formalin. So has formalin is a method which has to be present inside the mango class. Why? Because we have passed the mango type of instance, so m will be passed over here since this is m. So m dot has formalin. So in the mango class there has to be a method called has formalin, and it will print this. However, if this is true, then it will print this, but if it's false, then it will go to the else statement and it will print something like this. Okay, so now let's see. Okay, I need to check one more thing. I think there's a type error hitting the okay, now let's go back to the problem, something like this. So now we need to create this has formalin method inside the mango class. Okay, so we have to create a has formalin method. However, since if we have extended things from the fruit class, does it has a has formalin method? Yes, it does has a has formalin method. However, what we don't have is a constructor, right? We need to have a constructor. So in the fruit class, as you can see, we have got a constructor over here which takes in boolean and a string, but it does not have a default constructor. So that means when you have created the mango class, we need to create a constructor. We need to access this constructor, otherwise this will give us an error. So in the mango class, we need to access the parent constructor, which is this one, otherwise it's giving us an error. However, as you can see, we have created a mango class, a mango object, but this doesn't take in any parameters. That means we need to create an constructor which is a default constructor. So okay, first let's create a default constructor over here. So how do you create a default constructor? So with mango, okay, so we have created this, and plus cannot be, so it has given us some error because we need to write some sort of, okay, let's see what the problem is. Fruit class cannot be applied to given types, required boolean and string. So what it's asking us to do is, since in the fruit class, the parent class, we have got a constructor that only takes in boolean and string, we also need to override this method. We need to write we have to write the constructor which uses that constructor from the parent class. So but in the main method, as you can see, we need to create an object that creates a default constructor because it does not take in any parameter. So okay, we have to create this. Now, as we have seen in class, in the last lab we have seen this. So if you need to access the constructor of the parent, what you need to call is, you need to call super. So over here we need to pass four variables. One is a boolean variable, another one is a string. Why? Because when you have written super, it goes to the parent and it checks for the constructor with the given parameter. So we'll be giving a boolean and a string. So it will be going to the parent class, and it will check whether it matches with any of the parameters that has been passed. So if you pass a boolean and a string, it will see, okay, this matches with this constructor of the parent, and it will start running this. So we'll be passing the whatever will be in the parameter later on. Let me write the same constructor for jackfruit. Why? Because in jackfruit also we have created an object of jackfruit where we need to create a default constructor because no parameters are being passed. So let's use this. Okay, so now what do we need to pass to the parent constructor? So let's check the printing method. So first of all, it goes to this class, it goes to the this method, and it prints this printing detail. Now it checks if it has formalin or not. If it does have formalin, then you have to print this line: do not eat the f.get name. So as you can see, mango is printing detail, and then this line: do not eat the mango. What does this mean? This means that mango has obviously has formalin. That is the reason this if statement is true. That means that is the reason we have got it inside this if statement. So mango, it does has formalin. So we go to the mango, and in the super constructor we pass in true. So why did we pass true? Because as you can see in the super constructor, the fruit, the parent the parent class, we've got this constructor, we'll be using overriding this, so it passes a variable formalin and a name. So if it's a mango, as you can see from this from the output, not eat a mango. And when do we print this? Only when if it enters this if statement, that means has formalin. If it's true, then we print do not eat this certain fruit. So obviously the formalin has to be true. Initially by default it's false, but since mango has formalin, we need to pass true over here, and the other string will be the name of the fruit, that's mango. So see, we have no errors over here. So what it does is we have done is we have made a constructor. We have first of all created an object of mango. And why have we created a default constructor? Because over here we have created an object where it doesn't take in any parameters. So it goes in over here, and then since it has to go to the parent and override some sort of constructors in the parent class, so the parent class is fruit class, it has to override any one of the constructors. So we have got only one constructor which takes in a boolean and a string. So it goes over here, oh no, it goes over here, and by using the super keyword, it goes to the parent constructor, the immediate parent. The immediate parent is a fruit. It goes over there and it searches for a constructor that takes in a boolean and a string. So it searches for a constructor that takes in a boolean and a string, which is this one. And as you can see, as you have seen by the print statement, that we do not eat mango because it has formalin. So yes, we need to pass in the as boolean, you have to pass true, and the name of the fruit, that's mango. Now let's go back and try. We'll write the same thing in jackfruit. But however, let's check the output of jackfruit. In the output of jackfruit, first it has printing detail, but we are more concerned with this: eat the jackfruit. So when will it print it? When will it print eat the jackfruit? So if jackfruit j dot has formalin is true, that means jackfruit has formalin, you do not eat the jackfruit. But in the output, as you can see, the output is given that we can eat jackfruits. So it has entered the else statement. That means in the super constructor, the super keyword over here in jackfruit, we need to pass false, because jackfruit doesn't have formalin, and the name of the fruit is jackfruit. So yeah, so far what you have done is we have created default constructor, which calls by using the super constructor, super keyword, it goes to the parent class and it overrides this constructor method. Okay, so we are done making this almost. However, there's one very small thing that I think that's the main problem of this certain task, is we have printed this. We're being able to print this: do not eat mango and also eat the jackfruit. But however, as you can see, the second line, mangoes are bad for you and for jackfruits are good for you. How is this being printed? So let us go to the code and let's see. We have got this code over here. Okay, no, this code. So for example, if mangoes have formalin, okay, it goes over here, and then do not eat mangoes. Okay, no problem. But how does it print mangoes are bad for you if you only pass m over here? That means we are passing the instance of the object. That means what are we passing? If you have created an object of mango, what you are doing is, in this certain box there's an address of what? The object is somewhere in the heap memory over here, the mango object. So the only thing that is in this mango box, that means the only thing which is inside this box over here is this small m, is the address to the main object, right? So the address, the main the object is new mango, which is this one, and the box is M, which is this one, and this is only storing the address of the object. This is, the object is not inside the box. So since when you are passing M, you're only passing the address of the address which is inside this box. So when we print M, you can see that it will only print the address where the object is, right? So when you pass M, I'll be showing you an example. I'll just run this code. As of now, that we'll be seeing the outputs that you have done. I'll run this code. So you can see over here, printing detail, do not eat mango, but we've got this thing. What is this? We're supposed to get something like this: mangoes are bad for you. But over here, as you can see, this is giving us some sort of weird gibberish language. I don't know what this is. So what are we essentially doing here? As I've told you before, we are passing the instance of where the object is. That means we have created this box M over here, and it has got the address of the object, and when we pass M, it only prints the address which is stored inside this box, the address where the object is. So that's what it's doing. It's printing sort of some a hash code of where the main object of mango is. This is the hash code representation of the address. Now how do we convert this hash code or whatever thing is written over here to something like this: mangoes are bad for you, or jackfruits are good for you, something like this? Now for that we need to learn a new concept. I think a new thing that I think all of you know about, this toString method. So what this does is, I want to show you an example. So as you can see, we in this over here, they have created two objects of students and two instances, S1 and S2. So when you print S1 only, the same way we are printing the instance M over here, see what it prints. It only prints this. This is a, what is this? I think this is the hash code representation of, yeah, is to print the hash code value of the objects. It only prints the hash code value. Now how do you print mangoes are good for your, jackfruits are bad for your, whatever the output is? So as you can see, now we have done the same thing. We have created two objects, and then we are printing the same two instances. However, now we have got different outputs. Yes, we need something like that in our code as well. The only thing where they have made changes are over here in the student class. They have got a method student and some global variables and nothing else. But over here they made a certain change. They have done is, there is a toString method. They have overridden this method. So in Java, every class has a toString method. That is not visible to everyone. That is not visible in this code over here. That's sort of invisible, but there is a toString method. Now what that toString method does, I'll just copy this code and I'll just show you a bit of what's written in this toString method. So let's go. Okay, this is the actual code of toString method that's written in Java. So what it does is, when you call this method toString, there are two ways of calling this method. As we have seen before, we create an object just like this, and we can write if m.toString. We can call that in that way as well, or we can also call by printing the address of the instance variable. So if you print only the instance variable, what it does is it goes to the toString method and it prints something like this. That's something which is being returned from this that's written in this code, a hash code of where the object actually is. So what we need to do is, we need to override this method. So in Mango class there is a toString method that we couldn't see before. So now we need to override write this method. So in that mango class, something, it was returning something like this, the name of the class and get name and stuff, and also the address which is being converted to hash code. But now the same method, we are overriding this method, we need to return something different. So what do we need to return? Let's see. We need to return something like this: mangoes are bad for you. Previously it was this, the return statement was this, but now we are overriding it. We are writing mangoes are bad for you, and since it's returning a string, so we need to create a string and we need to return this. And the same goes for the jackfruit class as well. We need to create something like this and we need to write jackfruits are good for you. I think that's what was written over there. Jackfruits are good for you. Okay, so now what we have done, we have overridden this method, and now we will not be seeing this very code because we have overridden this code. We have removed this return statement where you get the class name and hash code and stuff. Now we'll be returning something like this, that we have written it by ourselves, and as I've talked, we have overridden their toString method. So let's go to test class, we run it, so you can see the output. Printing detail, do not eat mango, mangoes are bad for you. Printing detail, eat jackfruit, jackfruits are good for you. So let's check it out. Do not eat mango, mangoes are bad for you. Eat jackfruit, jackfruits are good for you. So see, we are done making with this problem. So only the main thing I think which you guys have at problem is the toString method. So let me just explain this one more time. ToString method is a method that is present in every class in Java. However, we cannot see this class. This is sort of hidden, but which only returns things in this manner. And the only way you can access toString method is if you create an object like this and you create something like m.toString, and only then you can access this toString method. And there is another way, as we have seen in this method. If you print the instance of an object, we are printing m, so what we will do, it will go to the toString method and then it will print this thing. So yes, but now we are overriding this toString method, and we are changing the return statement, the string that is default in Java, the certain code, we are changing it to the required string that we need to pass. That's the main general idea of toString. So yes, this fruit class also has a toString method that is invisible to us. We need to override that, but since we haven't been asked to give a certain output which is related to fruit or anything, so we haven't overridden the fruit toString method. So yeah, so I think I've tried to make this as simple as possible, and if you guys have any problem, then just do let me know. I'll be making the I'll be posting the rest of the videos on task 7 and 8 and 9 in a bit. So yeah, thank you.